very good evening to everyone. Welcome to the seventh episode of our Proppy podcast. If you're here for the first time, we'll be having our live podcast sessions every Sunday night. We're having conversations with our fellow Proppians here and our leaders, to get to know them better, to pick their brains a little, and also to share with you about our journey with Proppy. If you're invited here for the first time, you are probably invited by one of your close friends who is also one of our Propians, our close friend as well. And I hope you've gotten at least a little bit of an idea what we're doing here for this podcast. Just to prepare you a little bit, this is not just a pitching session. This is a sharing session, a conversation to give you an idea of what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. So please do come in every Sunday night, get to know us more. Other than having a live session, we are also recording this podcast to be posted in Podbean and YouTube. And tonight, we want to welcome all of our Zoom attendees here. Welcome. Thank you for spending your time with us on a Sunday night. Thanks for being here. My name is Vivian Chong. I am the ESG advocate of Proppy app. I'm very honored to be given another chance to host here, another episode of our Proppy podcast tonight. So this evening, we'll be having a conversation with our Chief Marketing and Communications Officer. Should I do what I did last week? I
you
should,
can,
right?
no, you can do it every week. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah, see, he definitely enjoys it.
Actually,
Yeah.
this is becoming it's like becoming a Vivian and Ivan special session every other week. It's like it's either these
Oh,
two. Why?
yeah.
What's happening right now? No, I'm very honored actually that first and foremost, I'm very honored to be given this chance also to be as a guest. But at the same time, I'm very very happy to actually hand over the reins over to another wonderful talent that we can showcase from Proppy. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and I hope to actually see you take this way much further with most of our other leaders in the future as well. So good job to you. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
this.
It's
No
it's
worries.
really an honor to be here, and thanks Ivan for being here this evening. Yeah. So tonight we want to talk about dreams. Everyone has their own dreams. Being here is kind of like a dream come true for me as well.
Mm.
Everyone is chasing dreams, right? It's what we all of us live for. Okay, suddenly I feel like talking about something very philosophical here, like our existence of being. I would actually like to talk about the more technical part of the topic for tonight, about our chasing the dreams. Today, I have some questions about the behind the scenes, of everything that we do here on Saturdays and Sundays, and also when we go out and pitch to the investors as well. So actually, Proppy has completed seed round funding, and very soon we'll also be closing our angel round. All this happened in just a few months' time. I think it's incredible what our leaders are doing, and what you did here as the CMO and CCO, our Chief Marketing and Communications Officer. Would you mind to share with us a little bit about the marketing strategy, and what were the challenges you faced while you were crafting the marketing strategy for Proppy?
Well, you went straight for the jugular.
Yes.
You didn't even bother to ask. So, what's your name? How are you?
You
Well,
you have
okay.
introduced yourself, right? I wanted
Many,
to know. Oh, you were
too many
waiting
times.
for
Too
the
many
no
times.
brilliant,
No,
awesome
it's too many
one.
times. Just like
Yes, I know.
just like what it's supposed to be, and it's a conversation, and I would like to
Yeah.
keep it light and easy as well. So for anyone who's actually listening in, whether you're listening from the podcast or even watching on YouTube, we have had a lot of sessions. I think this is the seventh.
Yeah.
We have had our previous sessions. Then you can actually go back and listen to our earlier pitches or our earlier sessions as well. So tonight is supposed to be me, and I'm very happy to
It
share,
is. It is
give you a
about
little bit
you.
of insights, give you a little bit of insight in terms of what we have been doing, how do we do it, how do we come up with our pitch deck, um,
Mm.
and I think the first question that you asked, what were the challenges? I think the challenge that we face at this point of time is that because we've got a huge dream ahead of us. I'm very excited about the dream, but at the same time, it is a very it's a very big, ambitious dream. When we
Yeah.
started this,
Yeah.
way back, not way back. It seems like it's way back, but it's only about 5 months. We're not even 6 months. We started in
Mhm.
October. So if you calculate October, November, December, January, February,
Yes, yes.
yeah, we are actually going into our 6 month in a
Six
way.
months. Mm-hmm.
To be able to already achieve our seed round funding is tremendous. It is
Yes, yes.
something which I did not
Definitely.
expect so soon as well. So if you're really looking at it, because we have a big ambition, and it demands a lot from each one of us as well. I think the challenge was trying to put something as complex, as
Mm-hmm.
ambitious, an idea into something more palatable, something more simple. So I find it very, very challenging, even at the very start, to try and understand um, the process flow, the
Mm-hmm.
flow in
Yes,
in
yes.
which how does the product work, what's the philosophy behind it, how do we actually get it, you know how do we make ourselves different from the rest of the market. So at that stage, at the very beginning, it was very tough. I have to admit, it was very, very tough,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I took a long time to really grasp something, uh, to to really grasp this whole idea. So I'm glad that we are here, because it is something which I think, to a certain extent, we are still developing. Right? It's not the end, and it's so interesting because our chief coordinator, he likes to be
Yeah.
known as our chief coach, which is actually Mr. Lee Wilson. He is such a visionary. He looks into things that is so far sighted. At the same time, when he shares an idea, um, sometimes when I
Yes,
look at it, I
yes.
was like, it cannot work. How do you make it work? So that was one of the biggest challenge that I faced right at the start. Even
Mm,
coming up with a marketing plan, to be able to cram all of this inside a small
yes, yes.
thing. Yeah.
I can relate as well. The first time you were the one talking to me about Proppy, and the first time was like, oh, what were you talking about? The whole the product is so complex. We haven't gotten into the philosophy behind Proppy as well. It was just about the product, and then slowly it took me some time to really had a grasp of what Proppy is about
You
as
know,
well.
it's not just when we share to our friends, like
Mm-hmm.
you or any one of our friends. It is also when we are trying to create something that is revolutionary, that is different from what it is out there. Sometimes you get a lot of pushback. You get a lot of pushback from the corporate side. People who are
Mm.
very used to the traditional way people pitch. Whenever they come to a pitch session, they expect a certain
Yeah,
convention, a certain way. They will ask
exactly,
you,
exactly.
what are your, of course, the features and functions are important, but at the same time, they'll be
Mm-hmm.
asking you in terms of, if you're creating an app, what are your user base? How are you going to create a user base? Your subscription? What's the number of subscription ready? And
Yes,
your
yes.
business plan and stuff like that. So, but at the same time, so we are trying to straddle. I find
Mm.
it a big challenge straddling between trying to meet the needs of the market, getting the team ready, and at the same time also achieving our own ethos, our own goals in terms of how we want to create this as a new revolutionary idea. And I am someone who really strive under this kind of situation. I love it when it challenges norms, when people say it's different. I love to be part of it.
Mm.
But that's how we actually, and that's one of the key ethos that we live by. Lah.
Yeah. You're talking about the ethos behind Proppy. I understand that Proppy has very, very different, very special, unique ethos and vision and values that we have. So what are the inspiration behind this Proppy? What is the story behind Proppy? How what how did this ethos and values comes by?
It's very interesting because I work as a corporate trader, and I've conducted a lot of programs in developing the vision, mission, and values, working with a lot of organizations,
Mm,
embedding certain cultures and values. And whenever we sit down with top management to design a program or even design their vision, mission, values, that's the basic DNA of an organization.
yes.
And we always try to dig lah, what's the story. And if you actually go to those companies that has
The story that
years,
touches,
yeah, you whenever you go to a company that has years of history, like Nestle
Mm,
or even Coca-Cola or any
mm-hmm.
or Walt Disney, you will find that they will have like history, and that creates their story. Like last time, 1915, something happened, 1930, blah blah blah, and then how some of these organizations, they have been around for 150 years.
Yes.
So and obviously there are stories that you can create. So obviously we are looking into also trying to create a proper story. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
but not every great idea is birthed from the back of a garage. We like to hear stories of, Apple was created at the back of the garage,
Oh yeah.
Microsoft, at the back of this, place or a specific boardroom,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like so. Eh, Even though we know it was important for us, because I think the story is important to get people, especially the people that you are trying to get involved, to be aligned, to have something that you can hold on to. Organizational story is always very, very, very crucial. But as we discover more about how we want to run this company, we realize that you cannot tell the story of Proppy from one side only.
Mm,
So that is already an immediate change from what we are used to in coming up with an
mm-hmm.
organizational story. So if you ask me for an official story, um, I don't think there is an official story, but
Mm-hmm.
actually what I've discovered, and this is actually a very core ethos within the company,
Mm-hmm.
is that the story of Proppy really is in the story of each and every one of us that comes into Proppy.
Mm,
And when you do that, you will find that it's a compilation of a lot of these different types of stories, and that is one of the reasons why, as the uh, as the person in charge of the marketing as well communications, why I wanted to actually have this podcast, so that each and every one of the property can tell their story, to because it's more personal, and that's one of the reasons why, even for those who have been invited here, why you've been invited, because you've been invited by a friend to listen to our personal story, and why we think that this why did we actually um, align ourselves to Proppy. And this for
mm-hmm.
me is the Proppy story in Institute, because when we talk about it, this is how I would also want to tell my story, and everybody likes to tell their own story.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, definitely.
What brought you in, and I think
Mm,
the couple of weeks before, when we had this same, also asked you that same story. And well, my story was very simple. I think a lot of people would uh, may share this story with me, but I think everyone would agree with me that the pandemic has created a complete shift in
mm,
the entire dynamics. Whether you're running a business, whether you're working for a company,
mm-hmm.
and I'm sure for you as well, it
Yeah.
does shift the way in which you look into things. And for me, that was a huge, last year was a huge turning point for me, because I was a corporate trainer. I run a
Yes. Yes.
fairly successful,
Mm,
I
mm-hmm.
wouldn't say it's a huge, but fairly successful corporate training business in Malaysia as well as Cambodia.
Yes.
We flew
Mm.
in and out as well, and
Yes.
until of
I've been with
course.
you for many many years, with your programs, and really, honestly say this. I can really honestly say this. You are one of the best in um
Wow, I
in
am so
Malaysia.
touched.
In
I,
Wow,
I wouldn't dare
really,
to I
really,
wouldn't dare
it's
say that I
like
am the best now. I think
I
that's
think
one of my
it's
mantra as well.
yeah.
I mean,
I think it's not just me. I've heard people saying that as well. One of the
and
best,
it's so
really.
sad,
So
right? It's so sad because it's something which
yeah.
I'm passionate about. I love to
Mm-hmm.
to be out there. It is I love to be on stage. I love to actually
Yes.
run programs, conduct training. But as you grow older, also physically, you become a little bit not as fit as you used to be. How I wish I could continue to be as fit, but I love to do what I do, but the pandemic has changed all that,
Yes.
and because of that, it actually also gave me a new, I mean, a new challenge. I was really at the point of, especially last year when the second CMCO was announced, um, um, in October. What Whether I was going to pivot or I was going to persist or whether I was going to pull the plug. And
Mm.
that was the real story for me. Exactly, I was putting so much effort into going to Cambodia, put so much money into it, finances, yet at the same time when something this
Yeah.
happened, and I'm not the only one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to tell this story, and make me sound like a victim here, but this is the reality, that it has also affected
Yes.
so
Yes.
many other people, so many other businesses, so much so that, when you look into this, how did this come about? And I think it's like the stars were aligned at that point of time, because while last year we were doing this more as a fun thing, right? Going online,
Mm.
Zoom sharing, and things like that. And that's when, of course, my very good friend Wilson came back into the picture and say, this, I remember him saying, not yet. He did not tell me. He said something is brewing, something is brewing. But I remember telling him,
The
um,
same thing that you told me.
something's brewing,
Yes.
something's brewing. I say,
Mm-hmm.
but not yet. We're not ready to tell you yet. We're not ready to tell you. And it so happened that the timing was when my mind was like, when the second CMCO happened,
Mm-hmm.
my mind said, okay, I'm not going to go through this. I'm getting older. When is it going to be, 6 months without, running training programs? Even though you're running virtual programs, you're going to
Mm.
wait for another 6 more months before something came back. So at that point in time, I was really, really, almost coming to the point of desperation, because I thought, okay, if I pull the plug, where am I going to go next? How, all the years of
Yes.
training, of,
Mm-hmm.
losing. I was feeling very, torn. But when this came about as at the same time, I thought that was a great thing, because, um, I think one of the things that I really, really appreciate was that this is something which, is going to change everyone's lives.
Mm.
And for me, that was something which I said, okay, look, I've always believed, even in when I created a business or I created my own company, it was to help, make a difference, change people's lives,
Yes.
whether coming and work with me, or coming on my program. Like I said, I'm not the best, but I always give my best in whatever I do, and that is has it resonates also with, the philosophy and the ethos, that we had, which was a very simple thing. You say there are three things. This is the three main things within this company. When we want to design something, we want to do something, whatever, a competitor has, whatever the product that
Mm-hmm.
someone has, we must have. So for
Mm.
me, I read that as whatever I do, I got to make sure that I'm able to do what I say I can do, and everyone else who has it, I can also do. So
Mm.
in a sense, it challenges me to say that, okay, if I'm saying that I can do something, I will do it. That is the level of professionalism I believe in. So the first one is that whatever they have, I must have.
Mm.
So
Yes.
that was also brought into the way in which we design our product, the way in which we actually design
Mm-hmm.
this, app, or even in marketing, or in all the things that we are trying to do. When we talk to our property division, is okay, look, whatever that, they have, whether it's competitor or
Yes.
seemingly to be competitor or not, we must have. The second ethos is whatever we have, we got to strive to be better.
Mm.
That means better than the next alternative. All right. So the first thing is
Right.
whatever they have, we must have. A
Yes,
bit kiasu
yes.
lah,
So
right?
it's like
Yeah.
that the K app has that the K app is that you're like just like the other app. No, we have that.
Yeah, yeah,
We are
it's true.
not just like them. We have that
and and
that
and I
features.
think the reason why we need to have that is because there is a reason why those apps, or there's a reason why those,
Mm.
businesses have been around, because they have achieved to a certain extent a level of achievement, a level
Yeah.
of success.
Yes.
So obviously, what they have, we will also have. So if you find that,
Mm-hmm.
when we share our not just our ethos, if we share our product, it's like, oh, it's the same. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the same,
yeah. There is also similar,
but we're better.
and that's where the second
Yeah,
ethos
yeah, the
is.
second ethos.
We are better, so
Ah,
we strive to
right.
have something
Yes.
that will be better. So
Mm-hmm.
in a way, it's like two in one, right? What they
Yes.
have, we have, but what we have is better.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, and for that, but it didn't stop there. It
Mm.
doesn't just stop there. The third ethos that we have also is like, whatever we are going to have, no one else have. And this is something which
Right.
I also like to, I also subscribe to, because whenever I design my proposal or a pitch deck, or when I do something else,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
always try to better the one that I've done before. And that's why I always say, I'm not the
Yes.
best, but I will always give you my best, no matter if I run a training program, or if I do a pitch deck, or if I do a campaign
Mm-hmm.
or a marketing campaign, whatever that I've done before. Wow, that was the best job.
Yes.
That was the
That's
best job.
why the pitch decks are always changing, it's always different. Tell us more, how do you craft your pitch deck? Why is it always changing?
Why is it always changing?
Yes.
Well, okay, I mean,
How do you come about, the ideas? I'm not saying that the pitch decks are, are not good. It's
okay,
like,
okay.
oh,
All right, I
no,
will,
no, it's
I
so
will
it's
not. I will not claim complete. I will not claim it, because first and foremost,
mm,
I'm someone who loves change. All right, I love
yeah,
change, but I have a love-hate relationship with change. I think most people also do. They say that, okay, they're able to change, but can we really change when change is upon us? That is a big question,
very
right?
hard. Yeah,
That's a big question. But I've always been big with change. I call myself a change catalyst. In when I was doing what I was doing in the past, which actually is
yes.
not totally
Always heard you
forgotten.
talking about change to the
Yeah, it's
corporate.
it's not completely forgotten, because I bring this into what I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
When I was as a corporate trader, I used to help organizations navigate change.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to identify what is it that you need to change. When we talk about change, is moving, and any kind of training is always moving from one to the next level transformation, to change, to become better. But actually, the change here in this context, I have never seen the level of change. I like change. I actually adore change. I can navigate change, but I have never, trust me, never in my entire life met the kind of change pace as I have,
Mm.
but in Proppy. And one of the
Wow.
reasons is because of our chief coordinator, our chief coach, our CEO. I, as someone who loves change, have to tell him, stop, stop. I cannot handle it, or the
So if you're
market
the
will not be able
catalyst
to
of
handle
change,
it.
what
Yes,
will he be?
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Because we design, we need to be able to design applications, design an operational manual, or the way in which we want to run a certain product for a
Mm.
certain
Mm-hmm.
time. And if so, change is, again, it's like a love hate relationship. It's a double-edged
Yeah.
sword.
Yes. Yes.
you know Change is important, because if you don't change, then you don't grow, and if you don't grow,
Correct.
then you will
Exactly.
die, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you got to constantly change, and that is the thing that we always say: change is the only
Mm.
constant in this world. So when you talk about change is the only constant in this world, means it's always evolving, it's always changing. But at the same time, you must have time for that change to be incubated, for the change to be accepted, and then adopted. And in any form of market as well, whether you want to bring in a new product, that's why you kind of find Apple, they always uh, introduce a new product in
Mm.
September. Apple 11, Apple 12, Apple 13, everybody's looking forward to that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is human behavior as well. We've got to also understand that, as much as we like change, but when change comes, it's really mafan, is really
Yes.
annoying, and it's like and sometimes, because of that, you might tend to lose the people around the fringes, and they will probably be lost so much so that they just can't accept it. So we've got to be able to understand how do we navigate this change. And
Mm.
that's why I call myself not so much a change catalyst, but knowing how to navigate this, just like you
Mm-hmm.
navigate a boat, right? A sail, you need
Mm.
to
Yes.
know, you need to understand the wind so that you can actually shift whether it's time for you to turn the sail this side or turn the sail that side to catch the wind. That's navigation. That's learning how to navigate. And
Mm.
change is a lot like that as well. Yeah, so that's one of the things that we have to also learn to manage. And this is the big thing right now, actually, because a lot of the things that we are doing
Mm-hmm.
is very different. And and there's a lot of things that, in fact, what we are sharing,
Mm.
if people come in for our Saturday Mandarin pitches, I would tell you that is only 20%.
Yeah.
That's only
Yes.
20%. In fact, it's going to be less because there's so much more new development that is going to be coming out. So, and we are looking forward to 330, the 30th of March, because that's when we're just going to, in a way, sort
Yeah.
of a soft launch of,
Putting ourselves to
yeah,
the public.
putting
Yes.
ourselves to the
Mm.
public. That's the soft launch of a product that
Mm-hmm.
we will say, wow, this is it. But even then, there are already R&D
Mm.
development that is ongoing that
Yes.
will add on to what we are doing at this point of time. So, like I said, like the key three
Mm.
ethos: what you have, we have. What I have will be better than what you have, and what I have, you don't have it yet.
Yes.
And I think we want to be trendsetters in order to be game changers. Um, People say they don't. You is Are you a disruptive innovator or innovative disruption? And I think in a way, I guess we are uh, innovative disruption lah. We
What
we
What
we
are the differences?
Slowly we will spend another day talking about that, right? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
not all disruption is innovative. Yeah.
Mm.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. It's the other
Uh,
way around. Not all innovation is disruptive. Sorry. Not all innovation is
okay.
disruptive,
Correct.
but
Yep.
all disruption has to be innovative. Yes.
Ah.
Yeah. You understand? Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Because you can
Takes
be.
yeah a bit of time to digest it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. I'm not going to claim
Right.
credit
Right.
for it.
Yes.
I'm not going to
Yes.
claim credit for it. I'm going to give credit to where credit is due, and that is after
Right.
sitting down with our CC. Eventually, we're going to have a chance to actually also interview our CC again. That is, he is a man with a lot of foresight.
Yes.
People have called him a man who's come from the future, and I don't want to over glorify a hero. I said something, he hates that as well. But I think we always give credit where credit. For me, I always give credit where credit is due. All
Mm.
right, like when I see a beautiful woman, I know it's like beautiful, definitely right in front of me, and that's how I
Thank
would
you.
say it. I do not mean you. I'm just saying it. But if you want to accept it, it's fine. But
Yeah.
that's
Of
what I
course.
meant. I give
Yeah.
credit where credit is due. So when I look into certain things like this is why, for me, my Proppy story is that
Mm-hmm.
when I understand this, I can see how great the innovation is.
Mm-hmm.
Yet at the same time, the disruption that we are creating to this particular industry that is totally going to revolutionize the way in which people are going to actually consume this
Mm.
product that we have. And that's why I'm actually very convinced lah. We are always riding this wave of change. So the issue that we always have to actually ask ourselves is how how are we adapting to this change? How are we able to see this change? How are we able to actually ride on this change? Because sometimes we don't even know that when a change comes, sometimes we don't even
Yes.
know it has happened. And most of the time we are just chasing after it, you know and
Mm.
I think it's important for us to in order for us to catch this kind of wave of change, it's very important for us to actually mingle around, talk to people who are similar game changers in their mindsets, in their ability to come up with this, to be able to see this wave and these trends. I'm not very good at that. Although I do profess that I like change, but I think liking change and adapting to change is very different in being able to predict a change.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just a certain there's a certain level of I guess it's a skill. It's not a skill, it's just an ability. It's like an innate ability. Yeah.
comes with a lot of ability, and experience as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what about I think it's also like it's also dealing with the inertia, um
Mm.
yeah, because we wouldn't, we say we want to change, we talk about changes, but we wouldn't want that. But yeah, coming back to the
Mm.
pitch decks,
Mm.
what were your considerations while coming up with or how do you package the whole idea and present it, as an investor pitch?
So, like I was telling you at the very beginning, the
Mm.
biggest challenge that I faced was really understanding and trying to
Mm-hmm.
compress all this knowledge and try to put it into palatable
Mm.
words, palatable description. And I did a lot of and one of the was talking about change. Please remind me. I sometimes go off topic.
Yeah.
So talking about that, writing pitch decks is not my
Mm-hmm.
forte. Yeah.
Mm.
And I'm not afraid to admit that.
Mm.
Sometimes people tend to say, "Oh, wow, you must be very experienced in that." Um, I don't believe in faking until make it.
Mm.
There is not something which I profess. Neither is that something which I will actually tell people to do. You don't fake it till you make it. But when you don't know something, what you can do is, and this is the biggest skill that I think everyone must have, not just propians, but anyone,
Mm-hmm.
is the level, your ability to your learning agility, your teachability, and your willingness to learn. I think that's the biggest most important skill for anyone to must have lah. Of course,
Mm.
for a leader, the most important characteristics is humility. But for everyone, when we do anything, we must always be willing to learn, and not only just be willing to learn. Yeah, you can say I'm willing to learn, but what do you do to learn?
Mm.
How much effort do you go into diving into a particular topic and understanding it? And that for me is the one that differentiates you as a talent from someone else. So if anybody who works with me, that's the thing that I always keep pushing people. And this is why I think me and Wilson, we do gel very well, because that's exactly what we believe in. And even though we are we were classmates, I learned from him all the time, and he
Mm.
still pushes me, and he still not nudges me in that context. And from that perspective, I do the same as well, and I just want to continuously push and nudge. But you must have the willingness to want to learn. And because of that, I actually took it upon me to really dive deep into understanding what people use, how do they create this pitch deck, how do they actually write an investor pitch.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did in 2017 was to go into a crypto based company in Singapore. It's a startup. It's
Mm-hmm.
another tech startup, it's a crypto, and that was crypto. It's a totally new field. I've always been organization development, HR. I graduated as a teacher, as a language teacher, and actually looking back at all my career, so I've never stood to do what I was supposed to be trained to do. I never became a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
although I started off
You
as
are kind of like a teacher, yeah. When you train.
well, yeah, in a way, it's still there, but not because I was supposed to be a school teacher. That was what I was trained to
All
do.
right. Mm.
Yeah, I was supposed to be a school teacher, and but I did not do that. And then I moved from one to the other, and I move and change, and I move and change, and but every time when I move and change, the only thing that we need to do is to always learn lah. So you
Mm.
improve yourself and you learn. So I went and dive into all of that, and I figured out that okay, so what is it that we need to have in our pitch? And I realized that a lot of the pitch decks will tell you, okay, when you prepare a pitch deck, you must not have any ambiguity, you must not have any complexity, you must not have
Mm.
any mystery,
Yes.
you must avoid
Straight to
avoid
the point.
jargons. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
straight to the point. And you know
Because
what, we
investors doesn't have time for that. Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
we broke all
And
the rule.
yes, correct. Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. Why? Why
Yeah, we
are
broke all that
why
rule.
is our pitch decks, our investors pitch so different,
Because the thing that we are actually creating is
Mm.
tremendous. And there was one particular deck which Wilson and I call it the killer deck. Because I remember
Oh,
the
we have
first time
that.
I showed the killer deck, I wasn't sure whether you were already with us at that time, but
Mm-hmm.
we showed the killer deck, and when we showed that killer deck, I can tell you, everyone just went berserk, not berserk, like it's like, uh,
Huh?
yeah,
Huh?
it's
What?
just wow.
What?
And but I what I did, and for me, it's not to say that, well, I'm very smart in calling it this. No, no, it's actually what I wanted to do was, I really, really, and that was a very important deck for me to have, because that put everything on paper. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So what I did was, I needed to see what is it on paper, what was it, how was it beneficial, what was good, what was lacking, or if there is anything that was lacking. Nothing is perfect, and to say that, wow, look,
Mm-hmm.
ours is the most perfect one. No, there's no such thing. All right. But we are
Mm.
always improving, and at that point of time, it was the best, the understanding of what it is. But actually, uh we will realize also that even after we've really agreed that that's the best thing already, there's still more that comes in. It goes to show what? It goes to show that it is always evolving. So I
Mm.
turn into the consideration. So basically, there are three consideration. What is the problem that we are fixing? What is it that we are actually providing the solution?
Okay.
And what is our insight lah? What is our insight? What is it?
Mm. All
What
right.
is it for? What is the
Yeah.
value? And that's when we start looking into, because we are a tech company,
Mm-hmm.
we started off with saying that, okay, we are creating an app. So what is the
Yes.
app
What
that
is the
you are?
value?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what is the value? And we want to create an app. We are now in an era of app. We were not in 2007, 2008, when everybody just started to go into it. We are now in an era where everybody uses apps. So if you're
Correct.
not
Correct.
creating another app, you're just going to be another app.
Yes. Yes. We definitely don't want that.
Yeah. So if
Mm.
you're not going to be another app, then you've got to make sure that this app stands out. And in
Mm-hmm.
order for this
Correct.
app to stand out, it has to actually trump what the other apps are doing, right? And are you telling me that in order to be able to trump that, then this app is not as complicated or even more complicated, because there's going to be so much more that it can do, and that is why it's
Yes.
so difficult for people to understand. It's like, what is it that you're doing? Tell me, it's simple, in one word, can you
We
actually
don't
do that?
want to be simple.
And we did, and we tried, and that is why we actually came up with our elevator pitch first and foremost.
Ah, all right.
So
What?
what is the industry that we are talking about? Why is it called Proppy? Because yeah, it is an all-in-one
Mhm.
property app.
Property
It's
related.
an all-in-one
Yes.
portal, property related.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you're talking about the property, and why we came out with a slogan like, because everybody needs a home. um everyone needs Everyone can build a house, but
Mm-hmm.
but Property will help you make into a home. So it started off with that first.
Right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So if for those of you who are listening in, you understand the history, and that's what I'm trying to do tonight, to just give you a little bit of insight behind the scenes. How did we eventually reach this point? It started with that first, right? Um, Everybody can build a house.
Mm-hmm.
You want to build a house,
Let
go build.
Proppy make it a home.
Yeah, let probably make it a home.
Yeah.
So how do we make it into a home? Is when we
Mm-hmm.
have other things fit into the home, your electrical items, your furniture, plumbing. And
Mm.
in order for
The
that to happen,
services.
isn't it?
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to talk about everybody can buy a house, it's about property, it's about real estate or something like that.
Yes.
You just buy a house, which means that you just go and look for a yellow page or a listing, and this is
Mm.
what other people are doing, correct? And it's not that you
Correct.
cannot buy a house. You can buy a house, but you need to make it a home. Correct. You need to make
Mm.
it a home by putting things inside a home. And eventually, in order to make a home, you also need to have a wife to make it a home, a family. That you can actually have proper match eventually. Not yet, not yet. Yeah, yeah. So we
Hopefully
will do
soon.
everything for you. And that is where
Looking for a wife for you.
exactly. Now you're getting it.
Mm.
But and that's something which, as a super app, we want to be able to create the entire peripheral so that it actually helps to do. But in order to do that, how do we actually do it? It's through our power of our AI, which is the real power behind Proppy, the data
Mm-hmm.
technology. So so it graduated from that to Proppy. Proppy app is a multifunctional, multi-featured, all-in-one property portal that helps you save money, make money from your property and
Mm-hmm.
other people's property. Now, um, of course, we've been using that for a long time,
Yes.
for considerable time, lah. But even if you say that, it's quite a mouthful, right? And being me, and I'm trying to be as sophisticated, simple yet sophisticated. Sometimes it's a little bit hard for people to actually understand. Got to try and explain it. But as we really understand, and we ourselves really understand this, what we have done is so far is really pulling it together and say that Proppy app is a data tech company that is
All
creating
right.
a
Mm-hmm.
multifunctional super app which uses AI analytics to help users of this app become better informed buyers and sellers. So
Mm.
this on this day itself, this is the first time I am rolling this out to all of you who's listening in, whether it's on this current Zoom, on Podbean, or even on our playback on YouTube. This is our elevator pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Proppy app is a data technology company that is creating a multifunctional super app which uses AI analytics to help users become better informed buyers and sellers. And this is the best part. So
Mm.
we are a data tech company that uses AI, and AI is the future. And there's nothing. I mean, if we are just going to create another property listing app, then there's nothing to be excited about. I think you alluded that to the
Yes.
fact, if it's not challenging, if it's not
Yeah.
something that's unique, what's the point of getting
Yeah. There's no
involved,
point. Correct. Correct.
right? And that is why I'm so excited, because this is going to revolutionize not just the property industry, because I'm interested in changing the world. And and
Mm-hmm.
obviously, when you say things like this, I'm a trainer, and sometimes we also know, like, when trainers say a lot of bullshit, all right? Trainers, wow,
Because
in
they're
order to, yeah,
motivational,
we are motivational. We have got to motivate everybody, inspiring.
Yeah.
You got to build a team. You got to have a dream. La la la. Yeah, everybody. And in order to, we have got to change the world. And sometimes we say it, knowing that it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
Mm.
there's something deep about that, and there's a desire in me as well to really effect that kind of change. I think the reason why I'm never satisfied, and I'm always seeking for
Mm-hmm.
that moment, is because I think I have not reached that goal. I have not reached, because that's something that I want to do, that will be able to change the world, that really literally change the world. And I've always liked to be this larger than life personality, right? It doesn't have to be me, because I know that I'm not going to be able to do that. But when you pull people with the same mindset together, same dream, same belief, that is why I think it's really, 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 you know, great, lah. And and
Yes,
and
yes,
and and
definitely. Mm.
and hence, this is why we say we are chasing this dream.
Yes, yes. We started today's podcast with, the chasing the dream,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, correct, correct. Yeah, I like that, everyone with, the like-minded people coming together.
yeah.
Yes, yes, exactly.
To change the world, to really make something that we will be not only just proud of, but we will be able to affect positive change to the world. And I'm glad that, and it's not going to be easy getting people to
Yes,
come
yes.
in. Everybody is going to definitely throw shade. They are definitely going to be questioning you, because of the fact that when you say something like this, I want to change the world, can we really change the world? You're
Yeah,
not.
yeah. You are like putting yourself, up there with the big
Yeah.
players, the
Who are you? Are you
Teslas,
Elon
Yeah,
Musk?
yes, Elon
Are you
Musk,
Alibaba?
Zuckerberg.
Are you Mark
Yes, yes.
Zuckerberg?
What gives you the confidence, to say that, we are creating this, super app.
It's a it's a dream. I think dreams give us. It's important that we must have a
Mm.
dream. And there's a difference between daydreaming and
Yes,
dreaming. So we need
correct.
to be very clear about what is it that we're doing. Are we daydreaming? And there are a lot of
Mm,
people who are daydreamers, me included.
yes.
You know, when I wanted to go into Cambodia, I was I mean it was a dream to start off a training company, and there's nothing wrong with that as well. And even with a failure, there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes we tend to say, oh, I want to have this, and sometimes we just daydream.
Yes, yes.
But there's also dreams. But dreams give us hope. Dreams are the one that actually, and hope is the one that keeps us moving. Without
Mm,
hope, there is nothing to live for. And that is why sometimes, and so the difference between daydreaming and dreaming is that you do something about it,
about it.
and that's why life is, I wrote a song, Chasing a Dream.
Yes, I want to ask you about the song, Chasing Dreams. Yeah, yeah. I remember
Yes,
you have
yes.
that song.
Yes,
Correct.
yes, and I use that song on my programs, telling people,
Mm,
that it's not having a dream that matters, but it is the chasing and in the living of the dream. Even having this conversation with you right now,
mhm.
it's a dream come true for me, and that has been a dream that I have ever since we first time met. And that's always what I've hoped
How?
to do, and I'm thankful that I get to live this dream. And the story is, and the song goes like this. It says, "Whoever said that life is easy, there may be times when you are down and out. Don't be disheartened. Don't be discouraged. The road you have taken is not totally untold. But remember to go on. Use the strength that you have inside to pull you through, and never give up, never give in. And that's the, well, you got to listen to the song, lah. I can sing it to you if you want me to, lah, but not here, not today, but another day maybe. And and
On
and I think
BBFM.
but I think that's something which
Mm-hmm.
we need to be able to understand why, as a team, as a family of Propians, it's really where everyone comes together to really want to achieve this. Why can't we be Mark Zuckerberg? Why can't we be Tesla or Elon Musk? Why can't we be another unicorn? Why do we limit ourselves into believing that this could be possible? If it's just me, then probably that's when I will say lah, daydreaming lah. Stop daydreaming,
Mm,
Ivan. you know. But when we pull these resources together, and this is what I want to actually allude to, we've got Tunku Nakyudin, we've got Mr. Lee Wilson, we've got Dr. Max Chen,
yes.
we've got Sean Yap, the MDRT
These are
chairman,
the
we've
people
got
who
Will
who
Funk.
know who
Yeah,
doesn't who don't really dream. They work towards the dreams. They have no they have worked. They have approved that they do work miracles.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
it can happen. It can
Yes. Yes.
happen, and that is the thing that we need to put into our minds and believe that it can happen, it will happen, if we really, really put our minds. And if in and even if we don't, at least we've tried. In the and why is it called chasing a dream? Is because it is in the chasing that matters, and it's in the chasing that is all in the fun. Chasing that dream, that impossible dream that we can't reach, but you got to chase it. You got to chase that rainbow. You got to chase that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And sometimes people say, I forget it. Well, you are if you are in it with this, you might just find that pot of gold. And we are actually quite serious about being able to pull this together as well.
Yes.
That's why it's called chasing a dream.
What's your dream?
You really want to know? Personal or professional?
Both.
I I've always said
Whichever you want to share with us.
I've always said 我只有一个梦想. I
Yes,
only
I
have one
always hear
dream.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always had one
What
dream,
is
and
that one
and
dream?
and that is to see the person that I love and cherish deeply achieve greatness in life, in whatever form, whatever way, and to join and come together and do this together to really go and coming together. And this in a way is that dream that is also um I think it's also aligned to everyone in terms of, really, let's that's why we call it ini kalila. This is our
Mm,
moment. And
yes.
if you actually, if you actually, in the pitch deck, it says this is your moment. But if
Yes.
you realize that I actually have behind me is this is our moment, it's because I believe that if you
Mm,
really really understand exactly where we are, what we are preparing for, what we are actually achieving and wanting to achieve, this is really our moment, because an opportunity like this will probably never come ever again. Let's be very honest. Will we be able to see another project like this, or will we be able to connect with another potential and
mm,
I'm still saying it's
mm.
potential, because
Yeah,
potential is always
correct.
important. If we happen to know somebody who's like a Mark Zuckerberg or an Elon Musk or Alibaba, I wish you all the best. But truth be told, sometimes it's not going to be. I mean, it could be an impossibility. And when the idea is being mooted, you can either have two choices. You can diss it and say rubbish lah, or you can actually
Yes.
analyze the
Mm,
situation and read and analyze and say, why do you believe so? What do you have that will trump the other person? Then I go back to the first three ethos. What we have, other people also have. And if you compare everything that we have and you say, hey, how come this one also this fellow got? How come this fellow also got this one? Which
mm,
means that everything other people got we already have. And
mm.
then we need
Yes.
to strive that every time we do something is always better than before. When we come up with a new product, it has to be better than the previous product. And that is why we are confident that what we have will be better, because we have better features. We have better functions. We use data analytics. We use AI. Nobody is currently doing it, and we are using that so that you will make life much easier. And we are going to move into the future. That's exactly what it is, and that is also why we also saying that what we have, they don't have yet.
Mm,
And to be the trendsetter is when people start copying you, and when people are starting to copy you, you know that you are running, but you've got to always keep pushing yourself forward. And that is why I am very convinced, and why this is my Proppy story. And I'm hoping that this Proppy story is not just the Proppy story, but this is one of the many, many, many Proppy stories that you're going to hear. And that is why podcast, we are going to continue to tell you these kind of stories, to get to know and have conversations with each and every one of us, so that you understand and you will be inspired as well as I have been inspired, right?
definitely.
And I hope you have been inspired as well. 我的梦想哦.
Thank you. I hope your dreams come true. Yeah. And
I
all of our dreams come true as
I
well.
hope so too.
Right. So this journey to chasing dreams with our fellow Propians, we are already on it, and I think it's definitely a very exciting one. So thank you, Ivan, for sharing with us your
It's my
dreams.
pleasure.
Yes. I think our fellow Propians here as well appreciate your sharing with us tonight. So thank you. And for those of you who are listening in, please follow and subscribe to our social media channels. If you want to get to know us more on Facebook, YouTube, and Podbean. And good news, on the 30th of March, Ivan has mentioned just now, we're going to launch our Proppy app to the merchants. And it will be the day when we started putting ourselves out there and going public. And if you have any feedback or questions, or if you just want to get in touch, please, you can stay on after this live session for a quick chit chat. We will quickly close conversation for tonight. Thank you for staying on with us. I hope you have enjoyed our conversation today with Ivan. And thank you very much for being here, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Thank you very much.
Good night.